Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some foot locks from 50-50. I got a lot of good stuff here. First, a few fundamentals on a 50-50. So if you don't know what we're talking about, we call this a 50-50 because basically you have the same options as far as leg attacks go, right? This is a good position to start drilling in just because it makes you very acquainted with foot locks, not only defending but also attacking, which is one of the key aspects of any leg lock exchange, is that you're able to attack while defending. Most people lack that coordination. They're able to do one or the other, right? Your offensive brain turns on, your defensive brain shuts off, and vice versa. The trick is learning how to do both at the same time. So this is a good position to start drilling from because it makes you very familiar with doing both, because I have the exact same attacks that he has. First of all, I'm going to teach you guys what good positioning is in a 50-50, and then we're going to do some foot locks from there, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is, you notice that my hip is open and so is his. So if I go like that, his hip opens, that means he can't come up. If he does the same thing to me, that means I'm stuck, I can't come up, right? That's the first problem I have, is that whoever has the knee turned in, okay, has the advantage. So I'm aware of that, so I'm gonna transition to what I call a 60-40. So I'm gonna tuck one foot underneath his butt, I'm gonna cup his knee, and I'm gonna turn sideways. Notice that when I turn sideways, my leg goes straight, and I keep my big toe on the ground. The big toe on the ground is just a reference, right? Because if the toe opens, right, the foot opens, that means the knee opens, that means the hip's gonna open, that means he can put me on that side, and that's when I start getting stuck. So I always wanna stay heavy on my left side. Notice that I don't wanna stay heavy forward or back, but rather towards you guys, all right? And I gotta lean in, and I keep this leg very stiff. So if TJ tries to turn his leg to the other side, like he's stuck, right? He's gonna move my leg a little bit, but like I exaggerate my weight on this side because I don't want him doing to me what I'm doing to him right now. So we call this a 60-40 because, you know, I have 60% of the position, he has 40, whereas before we were 50-50. Now, the beauty of this position is that I have the freedom to come up at will. So let's say I was scoring points or preventing him from scoring points on me, it's easy for me to come up, right? He can't come up. If TJ tries to come up now, try to come up, TJ, he's stuck because his hip is open. As long as his knee is open, there's no way he can come up. But I have the freedom to come up, he doesn't. So if I'm scoring points on him, easy because I can come up at will. If I'm preventing him from scoring points, same thing, okay? He can't come up, so he can't score points on me. The other advantage is that he can't attack my foot. There's very little attacks he can do for it. So let's go for, it's not a very good foot lock. On the other hand, I have very good foot lock on him. So offensively speaking, I have a much better position on him as well. So the first thing you should be looking for when any 50-50 you're attacking is this position right here. We call this 60-40. Now, what are the attacks? Some of the attacks are the more common attacks in a 50-50. I'm going to start with a basic straight foot lock here. Well, when we're talking about a straight foot lock, typically we attack this side right here, right parallel. So his right foot and my left armpit. In a 50-50, it's going to be a cross. So it's going to be his right leg and my right armpit, right? The technique is very similar, but not exactly the same. The truth of the matter is this foot lock right here a lot of times turns into more of a toe hold. It counts as a straight foot lock because of the way I'm engaging the ankle. But the way it's going to feel on his foot a lot of times feels more like a toe hold because I'm going to be bending his knee a lot, okay? Now, how I bite this foot is what's important. Just like turn around, go 180 with me, TJ, so we can see the foot. This is very important. You guys see what his foot looks like on the other side. What I'm really trying to do is make his toes disappear underneath my armpit. So you guys can barely see his toes there. Maybe you can't see him at all. That's what I'm looking for. Now, I don't want to lose the heel on the inside. Let's say he pulls his heel in. I don't want that to happen, right? So with my elbow, I have to press his heel into my rib cage as I bite the toes with my armpit. That's really what I'm looking for. My right hand is gonna open up and it's gonna go for my left collar. Notice that it's mostly my left shoulder leaning in, not so much my right hand going up, because my right hand can only go so much, right? It's kind of locked right here. So I'm gonna lean in. I go in, I feed it to my left collar to my right hand, and the whole time I'm pinching his heel into my rib cage. Now, what I want to see you guys do is go back to that 60-40 now, and notice that I'm bending his knee. Now we can go back that one and just turn again. So what we're doing is I'm bending his knee because it's going to make his foot more vulnerable, and I'm going to bend his knee by turning his knee in with my right knee because he's already tapping, okay? Now, I'm going to loosen this up here just so he doesn't tap too soon, so you guys get a full scope of the technique, but I wouldn't do this in a fight, but keep that tight, okay? I'm just going to loosen it right now so he doesn't tap too soon. But I'm turning here. Notice that I bring my left hand close to my hip. This makes me tall. If I'm here, I'm short. Here, I'm even shorter. I want to get tall when I do this. I want to turn my knee in, and now I'm going to look at the sun behind me. Once again, I'm pressing his heel into my rib cage with my elbow, I'm pinching his toes with my armpit, and I'm looking at the sun. It's very important that I engage my entire upper body as I'm doing this, as well as my lower body. I'm gonna keep going that way on this straight footlock. Sometimes what happens is I turn so much, I go belly down, okay? And I spread my knees, and I keep going all the way. I'm not gonna do that to TJ, that's gonna hurt his foot. But if you were going live and he weren't tapping, that's what you would do. You go all the way until both your knees are on the ground. I'll do it one more time. So once I bite this foot, I'm gonna be pressing his heel on my rib cage. It's very important I don't lose the heel. And then I'm making his toes disappear underneath my armpit. I don't want his toes on that side of my shoulder. If he has his leg a little bit deeper, let's say his foot's a little bit deeper, I have to pull back and bite, call them like little baby bites, just to lose his foot just enough. Look, he's already almost tapping. I'm not even squeezing. Look, I'm not even gonna close, look. Just the mechanics of it makes it so tight on his foot, right? But if I really want that extra pressure, I go stiff leg, I bring my left hand close to my butt, and I'm gonna start looking behind me. Look, the rotation is what does the trick, okay? So once again, this counts as a straight full lock, but in reality, if you pay close attention, it's really more like a toe hold because it's bending the foot this way while it bends the knee, right? That's the motion right there. Very strong position, very deadly. You can attack it from other situations, but the 50-50 is the most common one to attack this sort of footlock. Hey guys, so we're back here to the channel. I'm gonna show you guys a second footlock from the 50-50. Go back to position. So this is one of my favorites. Actually, it might be the one I use the most. Very common thing in a 50-50 is whenever I'm attacking my opponent, like maybe he wants to disengage, he wants to pull his leg out. So he starts putting his knee on the ground and shrimping backwards, right, to pull that leg out, right? And if that's not something I want, right, if I want to maintain that 50-50 because I have an edge when it comes to footlock exchanges, I can do something to avoid that. What I'm always going to have is this pocket grip right here. The reason I love this pocket grip is because it's going to be really good control over his leg. So a pocket grip, I'm not going on the inside of the pants, I am going on the outside. So it's pretty much the same grip, but instead of going palm up, I'm going to go palm down. And on the outside of the pants, I dig my fingers in there. It turns my hand into a meat hook, and I keep this grip. And what happens is as TJ starts shrimping to pull that leg out, if I want to come up, it's easy for me to pull this leg out, but it's not an equal position, because if I say go now, I'm always going to be able to come up before he does because I have control over his leg. So if I just wanted to be on top, I'd have that advantage. Let's say I'm trying to score the points for being on top. Let's say I'm just trying to prevent him from being on top, whatever the case, it gives me control over what's going on. I dictate whether I'm going to be top or bottom because of this grip. However, a lot of times when this is happening and he's pulling that leg out, I have another option. This is an easy one. As he begins to shrimp to put that knee to the ground, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my elbow in front of his foot. Notice that my upper half of my forearm goes at the end of his foot, right where his toes are. Okay, now where my elbow goes is important because I don't want this and I don't want the actual elbow. I want the third quarter of your forearm right over his toes. And once I get that, what happens, I begin to bend his foot. You're like, oh, you see that? Okay, that's basically what I'm doing. It's a toe hold with my forearm. Don't let go of the pocket grip. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the knee, and I can do it this way with my foot tucked underneath his butt. If my leg were on the outside here, this would be perfectly fine too. I just try to fit his kneecap behind the back of my knee, and I keep it in place that way, and I bite it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm isolating his foot by trapping his knee. So his knee is stuck, and there's not a lot of wiggle room there, and then I'm able to attack the foot freely. Notice that I attack with what? The third quarter of my forearm, and I'm pushing his foot straight to his face. That's what I'm doing with my forearm. So as he begins to pull that leg out, I lock, yes. If he's very flexible, you know, you may not be tapping right away. I can always make myself taller by pulling myself in with my left hand, right? The closer this left arm comes in, the taller I'm gonna be, the stronger the push is gonna be on that footlock. I'll do it one more time. So anytime you feel like you're about to lose a leg and maybe you don't want to lose a leg, actually, even if you were, I mean, if you wanted to be on top, you don't want to be in the 50-50 anymore, I still recommend this grip because once again, it gives me the power to dictate if I'm going to be top or bottom or what I'm going to do next. But he doesn't have that same power unless he has that same grip, right? So as he's shrimping out to free that leg, I have to block his ankle with the top of my leg. This is very important because if I open this up, the foot comes out too easy. So I have to block one and I have to block two. So his leg is trapped on my leg now. So I start with the pocket grip, he begins to shrimp. If he pulled his leg out, I can always like pull him back in and pull myself in to make that adjustment. So if you have, let's say your opponent had shorter legs and you have a little bit long forearms, you're gonna have to hold a little bit lower. So again, you get the third quarter of the forearm on the top of this foot. I'm gonna have the first half of my forearm on his foot, and that's not gonna work well, right? So I have to regulate where my hand goes, right? Slide it up and down his pants there to make sure that I get my forearm in the right place. Not the elbow, just below the elbow. Once again, pinch, look. Yeah, it's all about the pinching. Zero energy involved. I pinch one, I can bite two. If I were here, this is fine as well, as long as my knees are pinching together. So I'm isolating the foot. By locking the knee, I prevent him from having that wiggling room that so many, I mean, one of the most common problems in a foot lock is that his foot is moving. He can't quite adjust because he's constantly moving, right? So I need to get his knee and hip to stop moving so I can attack the foot. That's what isolating the foot is locking this guy in place, locking that guy in place. This guy becomes an easy target. I'll do it one more time. It's very important, guys. You guys, once again, this leg is blocking his Achilles heel. So when I press, there's not a lot of that going on. Like his leg is stuck in place, his knee is stuck in place. The only thing moving is this right here. Because if everything else moves, I can't get tight on the foot. So once again, he begins to shrimp out. Even if like he pulls the leg, I can always like pull myself back in. I make that adjustment, I bite, adjust. It's very important that his knee is on the ground as well. It's not that I couldn't do it from here, but that creates some of that wiggling that I'm trying to avoid. So I put his knee on the ground, I bite with the inside of my knee. Yeah, and that's my pressure right there with the straight, with the toe hold. Keep in mind that for competition purposes, for IBJJF purposes, you want that, you can't do this white, blue, and purple, right? The toe hold is brown and black belt move only, but it kind of depends on the rule set. So if you're competing on a different rule set, you might want to ask the ref before. But keep in mind that if you're competing in an IBJJF tournament, that right there will count as a toe hold, not as a straight foot lock, so it's not for every rank, okay? Anyway, check it out. Let me know what you thought of the move. And yeah, hopefully it works well for you. Hey guys, I hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, spread the word. A lot of you guys are watching the video, you're not subscribed to the channel. We have new videos coming up every week, sometimes 2 videos a week. So please check it out. If there's anything you guys would like to learn, is there anything specific that you guys would like to, for me to talk about, show, please feel free to do so. Just leave a comment below and I'll be glad to share some of my experience with you guys. The channel is really, as much as it is mine, it is yours as well. So let me know what you guys want to learn.